Hello, I'm Representative Zach Mako here at the 101st Pennsylvania Farm Show in Harrisburg. I'm with the Secretary of Agriculture, Russell Redding, and thank you for
Great to see you. Welcome.
coming out.
Yeah, thank you.
So, we're at the 101st Farm Show. What makes this farm show unique this year?
I think there's a couple of things. We were lucky last year, obviously, with the 100 to celebrate, a milestone in agriculture and all that comes with an anniversary. This year, you start a new century of farm shows. You get a chance to really do some new things and continue to tell the history, of course, but really this is about sort of the future and what's happening and what do we see as that agricultural future here. So we added a couple things. We've got an Ag 101 playing off of the 101st year. There's a 101's the educational nomenclature, right?
Yep.
So we took an opportunity to say people really want to know a little more about different topics. So they range from drones and technology in agriculture to Pennsylvania barns. You'll see that the poultry is back after losing a year because of high-path avian influenza. We've expanded our Know Your Farmer area. A lot of good things.
I found out today coming in that today is also the Veterans Day here at the Farm Show. How is that significant here at the Farm Show today?
So we have an opportunity to really sort of pull in this workforce of the military. I think it's one of those great sort of pieces of Pennsylvania, second largest veteran population in the country, 800,000 people here. A lot of them are in the workforce, and for us, what we were trying to do is to connect the skills of the veteran and military families to agriculture. We get the benefit of their work and their skill. Agriculture has that growing need for folks to enter both food and agriculture as a career, but also the workforce. 2% of our population feeds us. 2% happens to be the same number that protect us. And I think there's a great sort of 2% and 2%. That's the 4% you and I would stand with any day. You see here at the Farm Show. Yeah.
I was just going to say everyone needs to eat, and I don't think enough people think about that on, agriculture. Now you mentioned moving forward with the next generation, and what bills have been recently passed on the agriculture side that have become law, and how does that affect everyone?
Yeah, so there's two in particular I point to. One is the industrial hemp. Pennsylvania, you look at our towns and townships, a lot of them have hemp in their name, right? So it was here. The problem is it disappeared for 70 years. So Act 92 was passed late in the session, gives Pennsylvania the legal authority to begin growing that again on a pilot basis. So 2017 will be our first opportunity to put hemp, industrial hemp back into our Pennsylvania farms. Look at the future of that. Second one, just because of farmland preservation is so important to Pennsylvania and what we've been able to do over the 25 years, celebrated 5,000 farms being preserved. We had this issue of the last year where some of the counties and townships were putting in place a realty transfer tax just to move, even within the family, that farm from one generation to the next and having it subject to realty transfer tax. That wasn't the intent of the realty transfer tax nor the program, so we addressed that. So there are two things that give you a new crop and give you some predictability about that farm remaining in agriculture.
And so that's a good segue into my next question I had for you, sir. And I think we're seeing it in all industries, but also seeing it in farming. The next generation, is there a concern that not enough of the next generation's getting involved? Because you said 2% earlier, and it might be dwindling. Do you think enough of, I guess I would say my generation's getting involved in farming?
Well, I think there's this resurgence in people wanting to know where their food's coming from. And it happens to be coinciding at a time when you have a lot of generational transitions and transfers occurring with farms, and so we think that's a great opportunity. But that's not always sort of well understood, right? So we have a great 4-H and a great FFA in Pennsylvania, but our goal, and in fact part of it's during Farm Show, is to make those connections to a food system with people who want to look at and want to explore the careers in agriculture, you can do that right here in Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania Farm Show.
Now, you were talking to me earlier, sir, about the spotted lanternfly, and it's affecting Pennsylvania. It's destroying crops and trees. What do people need to be on the lookout for? How do we combat it? What do we need to do with the quarantine zones?
So it's an invasive pest, one of those that is not native to America, not native to Pennsylvania. 2 years ago identified, and at that point, we were thinking we had it sort of contained, and went to work with Department of Agriculture, local community to really survey the area, realized that it was beyond that original sort of ground zero, right? And now has expanded. You've got a township and some area within your district that has spotted lanternfly. I would ask each of your constituents really to be aware of the spotted lanternfly, look for it. It's certainly easier to identify in the adult stage because of its colorful wings and the nature of it. But the real key is to find the egg masses on the trees. So if they find them, please report that to the Department of Agriculture. You can go to our website. But that's really most important. We need their eyes, right, on their property, and really helping us to survey, be vigilant in trying to remove it, but also we don't want it to spread.
So you need people being vigilant. And my last question for you, sir, is Pennsylvania, like you say, going back to the 2% growing, we got to make sure that food tastes good, but how do you also make sure it's safe?
Yep. So we have, as part of our responsibilities, food safety. And it's one of those very basic needs, I think, when you talk about sort of appropriate government functions, is public health and safety. We have that responsibility for food. That takes a lot of different forms. Certainly at the farm level, there are initiatives underway. There's good sort of quality control already in place, but we have a role there to make sure that the fruits and vegetables are safe. There's new initiative from the Department of Agriculture that we're working on. Then you have this sort of value-added chain, processing in between that we work with processors on. And then where most of us connect is with the restaurant inspections, so we do those as well. So a full spectrum from farm to fork, we have a responsibility to make sure that food is safe.
I like that, the farm to fork. Well, thank you, Secretary of Agriculture Russell Redding. Appreciate
Pleasure's
you.
mine. Look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.